Joining our panel as we await your questions will be two more guests, and I'm now going to introduce them to you, although they are also known to you. Academy Award nominated Lady Gaga is a multi-talented, one-of-a-kind artist who has generated 3 consecutive #1 albums on the Billboard Hot 100, won 6 Grammy Awards, and was recently featured as Billboard's Artist of the Year. She wrote, collaborating with other multi-platinum artists, Till It Happens to You, which was nominated for an Academy Award this year for Best Original Song. She also won a Golden Globe for her acting performance in the series American Horror Story Hotel for the FX network. She is a huge force on social media, with 3.4 billion combined views of all of her videos online, more than 61 million likes on Facebook, nearly 50 million followers on Twitter, and more than 10 million followers on Instagram. In 2012, she launched the Born This Way Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering youth, embracing differences, and inspiring kindness and bravery. Please join us in welcoming Lady Gaga to the stage. He notices you've got ripping in your pants.
He likes my outfit.
It's a fashion statement.
How are you?
Thank you for joining.
Hello, everyone. Hi, everybody.
Let me first begin with a question to our 2 other panelists, Lady Gaga and to Philip Anschutz. Both of them have started these foundations, as I said, that focus to some degree on kindness. And if I can get their attention, you both are in a room full of mayors and who are dealing with enormous, difficult issues, worrying about public safety and worrying about cuts in education and all kinds of issues. Why do you think kindness would should have a part in their thinking as they try to lift their cities into more thriving places? Lady Gaga?
Well, the really fantastic thing about kindness is that it's free. It's the best resource that we have because you can give and receive kindness. And the well of it inside of you will never dry up. And it can't hurt you or anybody else. It is the thing that brings us all together. I feel the most important reason to focus on kindness right now, with what we're experiencing in the world, is to consider the United States as a human body. And the brain is the government. And all the organs, south of the neck, this is the people. Are you all right?
Yeah, he's just giving you more questions.
I hope you're okay.
Thank you for your compassion.
These different organs in our body, these are the different factions, the things that separate us as people. What we're experiencing right now is that the mind of the United States and the body are not talking. There's no connection. In science, what it tells us is that this connection between the brain and the rest of the body, when it erodes, you have system failure, or brain damage. This is what we're witnessing. Because the mind of the United States and the body of the United States are not connected, we have disharmony. And kindness is the cheapest way to cure that, and it has a priceless aftermath.
Do either of you two have any comments on these questions? Go
I
ahead,
do.
Lady Gaga.
I think the most efficient way for you to act with the young people in your cities is to be a calming force in their lives. The action of removing anxiety is very difficult to do, but what you can do is help to calm the fears, calm the anger. Young people are very confused right now because they are living in a state of horror. The media, when we watch the news, right, you don't see all the great things that are happening in the world. You just see the bad things right up close. Me and His Holiness were talking about this earlier. We need to shift the perspective and educate young people yourselves. You have the power to be kind to them. If you are kind to them and empower them to teach you, you don't have to look far for kindness. Kindness is in the heart of children. When we're born, we don't yet have that conditioning that happens later when we become jaded and love becomes tough. When you're a child, all you want to do is give, and give love and receive it. My feeling is that you each need to empower the kids that live where you are. Have a youth council. It's not just about money or education. This is about you using your voices beyond social media. Social media, as we know, is a vacuum of noise. No matter what you tweet, it is going to be put out there with a series of other toxic things that are not good for our children, whether it's hateful language or pornography or it's racism. We have to separate ourselves from that and detoxify the system so that it is pure again. You have to bring the darkness into the light, and you have to get the bad apples out of where you are working. If you can purify your system the way that we would purify the body if it was sick, this will lead to that repairing of the connection between the brain and the rest of the body. Once that occurs, the ecosystem of humanity and of the country will work again. It's really not rocket science. I sometimes think that young people are so afraid because they think there is no solution. But there is. The solution is that we need to build a kinder and braver world. In addition to that, I just wanted to say, in times of chaos and crisis, what we all tend to do, right, is start pointing fingers at where we think the bad guys are, where the evil is. We all start arguing. Everybody has different opinions about that. Please do not forget that hatred or evil, whatever you want to call it, it's intelligent, it's smart, and it's invisible. It doesn't have a color, it doesn't have a race, it doesn't have a religion, it has no politics. It's an invisible snake that while it is planning to make its attack, it is thinking to itself, I am going to divide my enemy into smaller, less strong groups, and then I'm going to make them hate each other so that it's easier to take them down. And as we're all yelling at each other, trying to figure out which group it is that's causing the problem, evil's winning all around us. So we have to get rid of those labels. These different factions, gay, straight, rich, poor, mentally ill, not mentally ill, gun owner, not gun owner. None of this can matter anymore. We are unified in our humanity. And the only thing that we all know, we all appreciate in one another is kindness. So this has to come before all things, and you must operate relentlessly this way with everything you have. Forget about the money. When you talk to the people, go out and talk to the people. Look them in the eye. Speak to them. Mobilize the kids. They're smart. They're smart, and they believe, because they are not yet jaded. They believe the world can change. You can't fight fire with fire. It makes no sense. You just make more fire. Kindness is the water that puts out the fire.
So on that, they agree. We have only a few minutes left. In fact, we've gone a little overtime, and so if some of you have to go, we'll understand if you have to go, but I'd like to get to a few more of your questions. There's a question here from Mayor Nancy McFarland from Raleigh, North Carolina. She asks, as a mayor, what is the most important thing that each of us should do every single day? She's asking on behalf of the mayors. What is something they can do every day?
I don't know.
May I just say, I think this.
Oh, right.
This is the best thing that we could do. What Tom has done in Anaheim, this is a precedent. I know I'm known as an entertainer now, but I went to a private school, and I have a good education. And what I learned in history class is that when you are learning how to lead, you are supposed to pay attention to history and follow what works and replicate it everywhere else. This works. City of Kindness works. If we can take that and replicate it all over the country, not with your own personal branding, not with self-advertising. This is not about building more things to sell. This is about saying, we know this works. We know it. We know that after the City of Kindness effort began, that violence went down, crime went down, suicide went down. That's the answer. You all should agree on this today. Agree on this.
And
Phil, go ahead.
And if I might just make an observation, I don't want this to be taken out of context, but the natural adversary of every city and every mayor in this room are young people. And it's not because they don't understand the issues that you have to deal with every day. And even if they did, they wouldn't agree on them. But there is things that you can agree on. It's a way of talking to one of your adversaries and potentially making them into allies. Because most of these young people, and this is why it's very important to have Lady Gaga sitting up here, who's got, I don't know, 60 million likes or some huge number that follow you, is they do understand values. And you can agree on them. And they're looking for something to be supportive of and someone to support.
Give them something to believe in.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to live in a kind city. I promise you. It will only bring more beautiful things your way. It will not destroy your city to make it a place of kindness. This is, you know, I think about the world like an apple sitting on a kitchen table. If you don't preserve the apple, it's going to rot quicker. So what I'm saying is the earth is a slowly rotting apple on a kitchen table. And we are the seeds. And the good seeds replenish the apple with kindness. And the bad seeds, they just quicken the erosion and the rotting of the whole thing. We want you to be all good seeds today. Be good, plant good seeds everywhere.
I'm sorry that we don't have time for all the questions, but for all of you who've given me questions, I'm going to make sure to present them to His Holiness's team for him to consider. So he will actually have your questions to consider for his thinking. I want to thank our panel. We've been really lucky to have both you, Lady Gaga, and you, Philip Anschutz. And I also need to mention that Jimpa, the translator for His Holiness, has been translating for him for more than 30 years, and we really are grateful that he is also here today.